our guest of honor this evening, His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz bin Salim Al-Mandhari, distinguished members of the official delegation, Your Excellency Ambassadors, distinguished guests, fellow members of the Sri Lankan community, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Ayubowan, Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum, and good evening. At the outset, together with my wife and my staff of the Sri Lanka Embassy in Muscat, I wish to extend a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us this evening to celebrate 72nd anniversary of Sri Lanka's independence. Let me take this opportunity to extend warm greetings and best wishes to my fellow Sri Lankans living in the Sultanate of Oman on the occasion of Sri Lanka's Independence Day celebration. I am honored to welcome our guest of honor to this special occasion, His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz bin Salim Al-Mandhari, Chairman of State Council of the Sultanate of Oman. I am also honored to welcome high-level official representation from the government of the Sultanate of Oman. Your gracious presence this evening is a manifestation of the goodwill and friendship of the people and the government of the Sultanate of Oman towards the people and the government of Sri Lanka. Excellencies, distinguished guests, on this important occasion of our nation, I take this opportunity to pay a tribute to the architect of the modern Oman and a visionary leader, late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said Tayyiballah Tarah, who was a cherished friend of Sri Lanka, as described by the President of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, in his condolence message. We, the people of Sri Lanka, share the grief of the people of Oman on this monumental loss. I also take this opportunity to extend our heartiest congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Hafizahullah Wara'ah for good health, happiness, personal well-being, and the continued progress and prosperity of the people of the Sultanate of Oman under His Majesty's able leadership. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, celebrating her 72nd anniversary of independence, Sri Lanka has embarked on an ambitious socio-economic development plan with drastic policy reforms. Towards this end, the vision of His Excellency, the President of Sri Lanka, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, has been unfurled recently. Vistas of prosperity and splendor has been unfurled recently. The vision aims at ensuring national security, people-centric economic development, friendly and non-aligned foreign policy for the prosperous Sri Lanka. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the two nations sharing the Indian Ocean and strategically located, Sri Lanka and Oman relations are traced back to mist of history. History records the visit of 9th century Omani trading vessel to the port of Galle in Sri Lanka. The visit evokes memories of the cultural and trade exchanges that have taken place for over 1,000 years between Sri Lanka and the Sultanate of Oman. Muscat is a household name in Sri Lanka. Halwa, Halawiyatul Omania, is known as Muscat in Sri Lanka, as it might have been brought from Muscat. This demonstrates the deep-rooted people-to-people contacts between Sri Lanka and Oman for many centuries. We are proud of the contribution by large number of Sri Lankan national for the development of this great nation in various fields. Mr. Felix de Silva, the Sri Lankan origin, became the first Inspector General of Police of Oman in 1974. It will be interesting to watch Omani cricket team coached by the former Sri Lankan cricket captain playing ICC T20 cricket match against Sri Lankan cricket team this year in October in Australia. Excellencies, distinguished guests, for last 50 years, bilateral relations between the two countries had grown from strength to strength under the stewardship of late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said Tayyibullah Tara. We proudly recollect a goodwill visit undertaken by His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq Hafizahullah Wara to Sri Lanka in 1997 as a member of high-level ministerial delegation from Oman. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs of Sultanate of Oman, visited Sri Lanka in 2012 to sign a landmark Memorandum of Understanding on bilateral political consultations between the two countries. The establishment of Sri Lanka-Oman Parliamentary Friendship Association paved the way for the exchange of high-level visits between the two countries. The high-level visit from the State Council of the Sultanate of Oman was headed by none other than our guest of honor today, His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz Al-Mantheri. His Excellency's visit was reciprocated by our Speaker of Parliament of Sri Lanka, Honorable Karu Jayasuriya, in 2018. It is indeed an honor to have you, Excellency, to grace this Sri Lanka's important occasion. Distinguished guests, Sri Lanka and Oman have immense potential to deepen economic engagement. The total bilateral trade between the two countries have been steadily growing in the recent past. Agriculture and food sector are promising areas for collaboration. A business visit by 11 popular Sri Lankan food exporter companies to Oman last October has begun to bear fruit, with the permission recently granted by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries of Oman to import poultry products from Sri Lanka. The government of Sri Lanka has recently awarded Oman Trading International Limited to supply 740,000 metric ton of LPG for the state-owned company in Sri Lanka called Litrogas Lanka Limited, which exactly begins today, 1st of March 2020. Excellencies, distinguished guests, there is a great potential for collaboration between the two countries in other sectors such as hospitality, apparels, boat building, fisheries, marine and aquaculture farming, value-added tea products, beverages, and so on. Sri Lanka's high human development indicators, strategic geographic location close to major shipping lanes, access to large regional markets, high-quality logistics services, high literate and trainable workforce provide a conducive environment for investments in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has most recently opened up 269 hectares of Columbus Port City, a reclaimed land from the sea adjoining to Colombo Port, has been opened for investments in many areas. This will emerge as a new regional business hub in the island. Oman investors could take advantage of this mega project. Sri Lankan companies such as Aitken Spence invested in hospitality sector in the Sultanate of Oman. Omani companies invested in sectors such as apparel, food processing and granite industry in Sri Lanka. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka and Oman are popular tourist destinations. It would be mutually beneficial for both countries to seek cooperation in this area through regular interaction between the inbound and outbound tour operators facilitated by the two governments. Sri Lanka has become a most popular destination for Omani tourists. Sri Lanka's rich nature, cultural heritage, numerous parks, long beaches, wildlife, luxury resorts, and adventure spots, wellness centers, etc. are the major tourist attractions. There is a breaking news for honeymooners. The popular website called Arabia Weddings has just announced Sri Lanka as one of the top honeymoon destinations in 2020. There is no better place than Sri Lanka for a fun honeymoon in nature. This, I am not saying this. This has been said by Arabian Weddings. Ladies and gentlemen, in Sri Lankan Airlines and Oman Air, and with the new recent addition of Salam Air, there are around 30 flights per week from Muscat to Colombo. Frequent air connectivity reinvigorates people-to-people contacts, which will also facilitate bilateral trade. Excellencies, distinguished guests, I am confident that the growing bilateral relations underpinned by a long-standing bond of friendship between the two countries will continue to flourish in the years ahead under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Hyatt bin Tariq, Hafizahullah Warah. I take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos Tayyiballah Farah, His Majesty Sultan Hyatt bin Tariq, Hafizahullah Warah, the government and the people of the Sultanate of Oman for their goodwill and support extended over the years to the Sri Lankan community living in Oman for their well-being and peaceful stay in this great country. I wish to place on record the enormous support extended by various government institutions in the Sultanate, particularly in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Sultanate of Oman towards the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Muscat. Last but not least, I wish to thank all our sponsors, well-wishers, Grand Hyatt Hotel and its staff and my staff in the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Muscat for making this event a success. I thank you once again for your gracious presence this evening, especially our guest of honor and the distinguished members of the official delegation, and for your enduring friendship and solidarity with Sri Lanka. Stuti, shukran jazila, and thank you.